they can see us. Apparently, they can immediately hear us, which was not the plan. But apparently, I
They
never
can't
muted us.
immediately hear us?
No,
Wow.
they can immediately hear us. I didn't
Oh,
I
God.
didn't mute us when I turned off the mics last session.
Well, good thing for YouTube. I will clip that, and nobody is probably watching this right now on Twitch, so we're good.
There's one viewer. It's likely me or you.
So you and I can judge us right now for that, you know. Shame on us.
Yeah, I've just begun to become maybe awake, maybe
Yeah,
lucid.
it's way too early in the morning, and my body woke me up at 3:11 this morning for some reason. Probably because I went to bed a little bit earlier, but I was like, is
It's
it
like
worth putting my head back down for
no,
19 minutes? Like,
no, because you'll be out.
hmm
You'll sleep through the alarm then.
Yeah, so I was just like,
Yesterday, Casey and I slept through our alarm. Apparently, I actually finally found the notification on the phone we use for an alarm. It's one of my old phones. I
mhm.
swiped up on the notification tray. It said silenced alarm after 10 minutes. We straight up for 10 minutes of our alarm going off, just slept through it, which is
I
wild.
Sam and I can sleep through a lot of things. So glad nobody has doxed us, because somebody could just break into our house probably and just like steal everything we have,
As long as you're asleep.
including everything around our bed, as long as it's not on our bed, and we will not wake up. Like Aaron and Ruth have come over in the middle of the night, invited for just something going on, and they needed an emergency like 1 a.m. council meeting, and me and Sam were like, all right, we'll just go to bed. Set an alarm, and if not, they can wake us up. And we sleep through the alarm, and they come into the house, and they're in the room, and they're like, guys. And we just they don't want to like wake us up, and we just sleep through it. They go through the house, they cook things in the microwave, they're like stomping around, and
Yeah, you know
we're
how Aaron
out.
moves. Aaron
Mhm.
moves with authority.
He does not have a good stealth.
Nah, he's not a light boy.
Oh, but because we've been consistently better at this, and this is actually the worst it's been in a while.
That was
Hey,
the purpose.
everybody!
I let it
Welcome,
happen.
welcome to our disaster cast. We told you we're gonna get a little bit better with consistency. But I am Brian Creevy. I am the disaster master who, yeah, just apparently has bad sleeping issues. So.
Hey, at least you can fall asleep whenever you want.
Yeah, it's a good and a bad thing.
I can't fall asleep whenever I want. I wish I could so badly. I can more than I. That's this way. I complain about it now. It was worse.
hmm
It's gotten better because I'm so fucking tired all the time that I can now sleep during the day a little bit better. But there's a long period of time where if I was up, and I had to power through whatever that was.
hmm Oh, by the way, an example of how I can sleep anywhere. My mom posted this 7 years ago. This is me and my father on the ferry coming back from Long Island.
Out.
It's just laying on the bench together, both of us out. No, that's definitely a trait I got from my father.
Yeah, just sleep anywhere. You know, I just need a 20-minute nap. I'm gonna disappear for 20 minutes, come back, and be like, yeah, what? I had a 20-minute nap. I told you.
Yeah, it's like
Mom,
it's
Brian's
it's
camera.
unreal.
Brian's a person. Well, I'll do my intro while he figures out how his camera, if his camera figures out what autofocus is. Hi, I'm Conlan Rose. I play, in this campaign we're currently playing, bracket, in the past have played Rainn, Greg, and these have been A. Autuk?
All
Altuk?
tuck.
Altuk. Altuk.
I haven't even seen that session.
I knew it began with an A. I could kind of half visualize it. I'm like, what exactly
Mhm.
was it? Uh,
And
And I've written various NPCs that you guys just don't know which ones they are. If you see me cackling, it's probably an NPC I've written.
And this is DisasterCast, a podcast, a D&D podcast where we sometimes talk about D&D. But yeah, going off of that, Conlan, your character, some NPCs you created, like in the heist campaign, that entire other party that was down there with you guys, that
I wrote all
only
of them.
Andy interacted with, and now all of them are either dead or enslaved. You guys don't know.
I inadvertently killed someone's mom, potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, you did, and somebody's sister.
I wrote sympathetic characters. And actually, that's like the characters I wrote had families. I'm sure more than one of them has like siblings and shit. Like I just didn't care enough to write them.
There was two decent people in that party that just are in bad situations, and then two just complete shit people.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't care. Johnny's dying, or the fuck his name is. Fuck him. He can get fucked.
whoever it was that
He's
Andy
a fucking
dragged
predator.
across the ground.
Yeah, he's a fucking predator. So like, fuck him.
It would have been almost better if Andy actually threw him into the lava.
Nah, I like him being tortured as Reese Fleer's little bitch for like an unconscionably long amount of time. I feel bad about so what, Mazikeen was also in that party, which is Serendity's sister. So that one, if Rainn knew, she'd feel bad about. But no one knows this, not even Serenity yet, that her sister may or may not have been enslaved to a demonkin, or to a dragon. She's a demonkin who has been enslaved by a dragon. I do not remember the person Rainn had a rivalry. I'll remember her name. I could look it up if I wanted to bring up a sheet.
A unimportant character who we were excited for maybe a day or two writing, and then had very little value beyond that.
Well, once we knew she was enslaved by the dragon, it was kind of like, oh, whatever.
It's like, if you guys ever go back to Greasefleur, I guess what word am I looking for? Reintroduce us, or dive into it deep or something like that. I don't know. It's too early.
Come on, computer. Be a computer. There we go.
Why? What is not computing with the computer?
Oh, I was just trying to open up the thing, and instead of opening it full screen, it just opened it small.
Because I should have known you opened a Microsoft Word document. Everything just got whiter.
Yeah. It's bright. It's great.
Honestly, you guys probably notice that every single D&D session we go into, because I'm looking at you like this, and then I'm setting things up, and then just suddenly,
it's comically bright. Yeah, he becomes fucking pale as hell. It's just because we opened up a fucking Word document.
Yeah.
Ari is her nickname. She's Ari Doris.
Oh, that's actually hilarious. My coworker's name is Ari.
Oh, really?
But her full name's Ariana, so.
So Ari's been sent there. Jonathan, fuck Jonathan, who cares? Oh, Gavin. He's technically an innocent party member. He's just there because he needed somewhere to make money. And
just one of those. Well, an opportunity arose.
Well, also, I think I wrote. Is Gavin the one I wrote as? Yeah, he's the one who's like a wizard or something like that, or he's some kind of caster. I don't remember what. And that's essentially.
Could have been a sorcerer. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just know he's a caster, and that's part of the reason he's in the gang is he was learning magic and realized that he needed to have some kind of backing, A, financially, and B, someone who has power, so that way if he got in trouble, he could get out of trouble for using magic, because magic is partially illegal in Xysta, and he does not have the permits.
He is not the Misfit Warriors.
No, he does not have a permit from, like, the Queen, essentially. Then who else is stuck in there? Quentin. He's literally just a spy. He's a changeling. I wrote this as his description. The whole thing is like 2 sentences. Stoic and kind. Mainly works as a spy for the organization, but will join on large operations. Spends a lot of time in both the upper I didn't write the sentence correctly. In both the upper Xysta and under Xysta. That was almost a sentence that's correct.
I understood what your meaning behind it.
Yeah, well, that was
You
me and you, the people
and
who
honestly,
were the head writers, understand the writing. We wrote it. We wrote it.
let's be honest, Conlan, you were high when writing that, so it didn't come out well. I've done that also, where I just like take an edible in the morning and I just go
Yeah,
and
just
write, and
go
then
into town.
I go back the next day, and it's not terrible, but there's like, oh, I can see where I had a thought, then I paused, changed the thought, and then the beginning of that sentence and end of that sentence are just two separate things put together.
I know you've read them to us and been like, wait, give me a second. I need to reread what the fuck
Uh,
I wrote. What the
I've been better at that recently, and that's because I did have moments like that where I'm like, what the fuck did I say here? So I always make sure the day before session,
the
I like
proofread.
go through and proofread it all.
Yeah, proofread while sober because you're just like, I need someone more competent to look through this. I actually did a
But
lot of writing. How many characters were written for this group? There's like over a
you
dozen characters.
you got like really into it for like a good week there.
I did this over the course of like 2 days. Well, I had to make it an actual guild, and a guild has more than like 3 people. And like
Mhm,
this is the people who are named characters. There are background characters that live in this like where they live. That you
mhm.
like I'm just not giving them names because they're just like, I'm sorry. Sex Slave 1 ain't getting a name because we don't need to add to the sadness that is the story.
Yeah. And honestly, that guy that you created that only had like 3 sentences to his name, that's only honestly, to go above and beyond when you're writing a place, you really only need like 4 to 5 people in an organization to make it interesting, because other than that, your party's not going to really talk to many other people.
Yeah.
But if, like I said, if you want to go above and beyond on something like that, you have like a list of like 4 to 6 rando people, names and very short clips about them, so you can on the fly, if they do decide to go talk to random people, this person here, they're here. That way you're like slightly prepared and have something to build off of.
The reason I did with that many people was I knew the potential for the gang, the group of the part of the gang that was going to the heist. I
Hmm.
knew it was possible they might die. So I wrote a little bit extra into the gang so that the way the gang would survive that.
Hmm.
Essentially, it will struggle after that because it's a huge financial loss to the gang. They took on this big ass job and they failed, and not just they failed. To Deus's understanding, everyone's fucking dead.
Hmm. Just lost 4 people of like a pretty
Incre-
major important section of their guild.
Literally, the person who's supposed to take on the guild after Deus, who's supposed to take on the moniker, he doesn't.
Hmm.
Jonathan doesn't know that. That's how this guild has worked for a long, as for a, like at least second generation, I'd say. Like Deus is the second person who's taken on current Deus is the second person who's taken on the mantle.
Hmm.
It has some time, but not like lots.
Ooh, it would be interesting to one day do a one shot of 4 of us playing those 4 characters trapped in Griesler's
I actually thought of something even funnier. The new hirees,
hmm?
the new hirees of Deus's gang, because he'll need to hire in new people.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a fun
What
little like one shot.
to
Is
do what? Like just
we are 4 people who've been hired by Deus to potentially become his new like outward people in the gang because that's who everyone who was lost was all his like people who do the tasks more publicly. Like it's like
yeah.
if I get in trouble, I'll get bailed out because we'll just pay off the guard. Because he's
You
just
should
powerful enough that if you're in the right part of the city, he can just be like, actually, here's 500 gold. You saw fucking nothing. And the
you
guards go,
should
okay.
You should do that at some point. You should DM a one
No,
shot
I
with that.
should. The problem is I'm going to have to make people uncomfortable because Deus is not a comfortable character. He is
Yeah,
structurally uncomfortable. That's the only
that
reason I
section.
kind of don't want to. Is Deus is an uncomfortable character. He's a sexual predator.
Yeah, that video would definitely need to have a trigger warning in the beginning.
Like he is. I wouldn't like obviously be obvious about it because that's fucked up to be like describing different types of abuse. But like he's
And
not a good
also,
person. That's
and
how he
also,
was written.
if we did a one shot like that, he's honestly not going to be a big part of it.
No,
It's
he's
he's going to
he's
be
just
there in the
giving an intro.
beginning for the intro and what the task is, and then possible coming back afterwards to
Yeah,
record
yeah,
it.
no,
So
that's the.
you probably will never see those parts of him.
It actually would be really funny. Is is being that like the new group for the gang and like him getting arrested during the course of the actions happening. Because what he doesn't know now is Rainn has gained some kind of political power. To his knowledge, she might just be dead. He has no fucking clue.
Hmm.
Um, and she is full intention to fucking wreck him. So the people who
He
actually are now have a terrible fate, they at least won't get arrested.
that's going good. That's at least good for them.
We're gonna close that out. Boop.
So last session, Conlan,
It was only a little chaotic.
boy, did you get stoned.
I was fucked up. I don't know how I was so fucked up. I didn't take that many edibles,
Mhm.
but I was wild.
I love how literally the beginning of the session you're like, "Whoa, guys,
I'm
I'm
fucked.
feeling it."
It was like just all at once. I was like, oh no. I was
So
very
I want to know from your high brain, describe last session.
okay. I
What
will.
do you remember?
We went to go yell at the guard, but it was mainly Vicky Young at the guard because I was a little too fucked up. I felt that we might have been a little too sharp, but Nock also was having a bad day, so I don't blame Nock for being so sharp. I was like, Vicky, you are channeling something else you're pissed off at.
Hmm.
For this, I can feel it.
It was pretty intense.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like you're yelling at Bryan, even though Bryan knows he's not actually being yelled at. I was like,
Hmm.
I'm too high for this.
The funny thing is, I took one edible just for like a little feel, and I wasn't even feeling it yet. But thinking back on that moment, dear God, if I did let that hit me, my brain might have processed that as, is she yelling? Are they yelling at me?
Yeah, luckily you weren't high enough for that to be how your brain's like, ah, that's acting. Good
Mhm.
job.
But
Instead of being
but it
like,
was good.
are you
It was
angry at me?
it allowed me to, I think, channel a pretty appropriate response for non on that.
Yeah, well, he was both like, I want to push back, but you ain't wrong, which actually makes me even more upset.
Yeah, he's a very humble guy because I thought about that when I was going into all this session. You know, like I think he's had a life as a paladin adventuring and stuff, but most of his adult life, once he gave up adventuring, he's been looking over this town, and there has been five other guards or four other guards, now five with oh my God, that guy that Naresh brought in. I'm
Oh,
blanking on
yeah,
his name
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but you're right, I'm also
Arik,
blank.
Arik? No,
Arik.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it's because he was the guy's like, oh, Ladris doesn't really have major things happen to it.
yeah, it's a
The
very important and sacred ground, but what do we get other than sometimes a couple rowdy bandits who are just coming for a drink, and he needs to be like, all right, guys, we're letting you in the town, but like you can't be
Yeah,
causing
also
shit.
the town is not fortified completely, but it has like partial fencing around it, so it's not like it's a defendable town.
Hmm.
It has
Yeah,
either hills that protect it on one side, or it has some border walls and stuff. Because
in the
it's
woods.
Yeah, in the woods. And if it was a big issue, you'd send someone to go inform the Thalthes. Be like, hey, Dragonborns, y'all don't really need you to do much. You just need to show up.
You're pretty intimidating, just your presence.
Yeah, the big dragons of axes. Be like, hey.
And then some of them were carrying a giant
Yeah,
log
just,
underneath their
yeah,
arm. He's like, I can swing this
ow.
like a sword.
Yeah, it's like, ow. Because I'm sure that's like, I'm sure there's been like once or twice that like there's been some rowdy people who've been staying in town for a couple days and like, hey, send a message to the Thalthes. These people need to leave.
Yeah. And see, so he is at most of his career been in charge of either 5 other guards that help him just manage this small town. 6 once a Reek came in, and now suddenly he has 200 soldiers that he has to look over. And some of them are dead already. Like he
Some
just
of them are
lost some
dead.
on this night. And Xysta has basically just said, "Hey, until our situation's straightened out, you're kinda on your own.
Well, the
Good luck."
biggest struggle Xysta will have for the next 6 months to a year in game which is like fucking comical amounts of time for for us to play. Like I can't even comprehend that. um, is the next 6 months to a year they need to train new guards, and that's gonna just take time. There's some component of that, no matter how effective their recruiting is, matter if they got half of the entire city, be like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. It takes time to train people.
Mhm.
And like you can't do everyone at once. You have to like roll through it. So like they're gonna recruit and the guards like, hey, protect the city, blah blah blah. We're gonna see recruitment posters within like a week. Like by the
Mhm.
time the misfits get to Xysta, there will probably be recruiting posters. Because like
Good. Good to know.
I'm just saying, in theory, that would be like because the city's been under attack, so the guard want to bolster numbers. Because it's
Mhm.
also been they know that because I informed Broderick that the Undersista is not doing well right now. Like there are groups boiling over. The control that's been down there. I haven't given him
It's
every
flooding.
detail. Yeah, it's also flooded, so people are gonna move up to the regular Xysta temporarily. So you're gonna have more criminals moving amongst the normal citizenry. You have
Mhm.
civil unrest from a major, almost apocalyptic level event happening.
And also a mass outbreak of knowledge for Alistair Mardathas's crimes.
Oh yeah, like a whole fucking list. Like someone got a fucking rap sheet of this guy, and everyone in the city has learned this. And in theory, depending on, I have to rewatch how he phrased it. I don't know if that also implicates people who were working with Alistair.
No, it did not. You guys
Okay,
did ask that on that day. It gave information like if there were others involved and how many. Like he worked with a group of 5 individuals, but it won't
implicate them.
reveal that information.
Because he didn't say, and his co-conspirators. Then the city would be in a fucking uproar. Because that
Yep.
means powerful people would be in trouble.
A lot of people too, a lot of normal people too that have made deals like Andy, like uh Andy's parents made not with him, but like you guys know basically you guys didn't figure out in session, but Andy's parents made a deal with the monastery. Like any direct ties that the Martathas family had on that, on like small businesses that they like
Yeah, even
incorporated and stuff
that
like
deals were technically illegal. Because it's
mhm.
his crimes. So that includes things that are not legal, but like happen in the background because it's a large city and you make deals with
Yeah.
families.
It would reveal every single time he stole a pack of gum from a store. I know
That's
there's no gum in Xysta, but like that kind of thought, right? Like stole an apple off a stand.
no, it would be really funny. The worst thing could happen is a list of Rainn's crimes.
How long do you have?
Yeah. It'd be people be like, oh my, that poor girl.
Hmm.
Because some of them are like, oh man, nah, she murdered people. I'd be like, oh man, if you Hey, can I have them in time order? If you put them in time order, they get more sad. They get more...
Oh God.
Back when I was stealing medicine from my dying friends and stuff like that.
Hmm. It's kind of an interesting thought when you think about it. Like everybody like intimately knows all this knowledge. Obviously, over time, like brain fog, some people will just
Yeah,
start
it's gonna
forgetting
fade a
some
little bit.
details. But like then there's also the people who have like photographic and memories that store everything, and they're going to literally be able to categorize Alistair Martethas's crimes from when he was a kid with the smallest, stupidest little thing that he did to the day that this spell was cast.
By doing what he's done, what Delson has done, he has greatly affected the city.
Hmm.
Because like the city was already heavily affected by the disaster, but to also in the same night have such crimes revealed, die, be murdered by his own problems. Um, at least that one was just like comeuppance. I'm like, your family kept a dragon hidden amongst the city. I don't know what your plan was long term, but it was never not ending this way.
You know what I think would sound so fun when we just I realize it every time we talk about what you guys did to Xysta City with the heist campaign. Uh,
We're war
I
criminals.
I I literally think about it. So not all the time, but sometimes about like DMing another session for Matt in Xysta,
Oh, and
and
then having Matt
he
be like, "Wait,
he's
what?"
been he's been unconscious this entire time since that interaction with the god. He's waking up uh uh sometime in the day after. So he's just gonna come back to and then see the storm, hear everything that's going on, and then the knowledge is just gonna hit his head. It's just like, what the fuck happened while I was out?
Yeah, do you play it that people who were asleep or unconscious during the announcement, do they get it anyways?
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
the entirety of Xysta City, as long as you're alive. The birds know what he's done.
They're angry, angry birds. They're angry birds. I didn't even mean to do that joke.
Oh my God, they are angry birds. There are angry birds. There, every every living thing in Xysta City knows his crimes.
That's
So
wild.
people who are asleep or people that were unconscious
They'll
are
get it when
just
they
gonna
wake up.
wake up and immediately they're gonna be like, "Why do I know this?"
Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's way too much for this early in the morning.
That is a pretty gruesome murder right there. Okay.
Yeah, does it show them or does it just like, say them?
Um, it,
Does how about
I
this?
imagine
Maybe we decide that for the more guilty ones, it kind of shows it a little bit.
I'd say honestly, it's probably only something that like those with photographic memories and that feat that allows you to like remember everything in the past 30 days. I think it'd only be able to be for those people, and if it's like you focus in on that memory, then you can like see a visualization of it. I was imagining it like a
Like a list. Okay.
like a police report of crimes just down that everybody knows. But that is a good thought. Like, hey,
Only for the
if you
serious ones. Like obviously
focus in on that
this.
one,
Yeah, the smaller ones. Like you hear he murdered someone. You go, wait, what? And you kind of like think hard on it. Like the just the. And he goes
so
because
you're seeing what I'm seeing, kind of like just going further into that like
yeah,
that
yeah.
memory.
Well, because part of it is like the concept of guilt would even though we live in the planet is magic, so who gives a shit? Uh, so you can kind of it's a wish spell, so it's incredibly powerful magic. So like being able, that fun of just being like some people being like, wait, really, and just being like kind of maybe not even seeing the actual event, but conceptually understanding he murdered someone
Hmm.
and like piecing together that like the arson charge with the murder charge because he burnt a building and killed a family. So
He
like
didn't do it. He hired
hired.
someone to do it.
I know, but like you'd be like those kind of clipped together, and you go like, oh my god, that the other furniture supplier, and you kind of like click that was the day.
hmm
There's like that must be it. What else would it be?
Goes over to his father, just punches him out for that one. Like, I got you.
He Delson cannot speak to his family for a decent amount of time. At least 2 days. I know his sister's gonna seek him out almost immediately,
hmm
which is fine, and she'll probably want to stay with Delson and away from her father. I'm guessing that will probably happen in terms of like if it were real life.
hmm
Uh, but Delson should Andrew should not go and talk to his dad for a little while because his dad's gonna he's gonna try and kill him.
Oh, they would definitely fight. They would 100% fight.
he
And his dad's
what's his
not just a normie.
yeah, it's like what other option do you have at that point? You know who did it. Who it's like only one other person besides myself knows of my crimes.
hmm
Besides like his business associates, but he knows they're not gonna rat him out. Like his brother ain't ratting him out. Or his nieces, his nephews who work for him aren't gonna fucking be ratting him out because they're in on it. Why
hmm
would they do that? That's a terrible choice for them. They're fucked if they do that.
All of them are just kind of sweating because they all have this knowledge too, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm that fill in the blank. I'm that fill in the blank."
Fuck. Well, that's what's gonna be interesting. They're gonna have to out him and say he was the one doing all the crime, and they didn't know.
Well, that is if people figure out it's them.
Well,
Because
no, no,
people
no, no.
remember,
If they're proactive, I'm not running the business, so I'm not involved. But if they were proactive, you would immediately go to the guard and say, we were aware of this, but because he was in charge, we were too scared to say anything, and then you whistle blow and just blame it all on him. That is how
that's
you
how you get
save.
it.
That's how you get
That's
out
how
of
you
that.
get out of that situation. Yeah.
And that's the only option, or you're fucked too. Is you gotta sell that boy down the fucking river. Sorry, bud, you're going to jail.
Yeah, you have two options. You are either going down through the transfers into the floating prison, or you are having a public floating, depending on how bad your crimes were.
See, they're gonna want to make him an example for business leaders, so it's gonna be very public. But they're also gonna want it done soon. With the queen not around, this will be interesting. Rainn might have to fucking float her own fucking uncle.
You don't know how it's there's so many different ways that this can go because there's so many layers to it. The Martefast family was just declared like they're going to be descending. They're going to be a die of a business that's gonna like go and franchise more out through the city. Like they were just announced as like, oh, and in the strangest way, the extra, the add-on
Oh yeah, the way
descendant
that was
family.
against like the normal cultural norms
Yeah, and
that
they were
upset people.
already a buzz. Everybody was talking about them, and then the next day, all of Alistair's
It
crimes get dropped to
actually,
all these
to
people.
be very honest, was smart of Delson, even though it absolutely lit shit on fire.
Immediately.
Like, hey, if you want to come out, everyone's already talking about the family, so right now is the best time to put the crimes in the forefront, so that way you can immediately deal with that problem instead of your family getting comfortable in that position and then cutting them down. You at least have cut them down before they've moved, before all those things have happened. Like, things need to happen. Like, this week was going to be them moving to the new home and, like, all that stuff. But now, like, you might have cut it off where your sister and mom might be okay.
Yeah, does the family still descend with the mom taking over? Does one of the uncles take over instead, and Alistair is just outed? Like,
I wouldn't
that
be,
that's
like, yeah, it all depends on how the family talks and be like, we've had to remove Alice. We did not realize that he had done such crimes, but we do not condone those, and we shall continue a profitable and fair business.
Okay, we believe
Believe
you.
you. Yeah. Had to fucking hold a press conference.
That's why, honestly, General Eldrick is protecting them right now because it's just like they're way too important political figures right now, and now they're even more high profile because of this, and everybody like there's so many different things going on. So I'm gonna just protect these guys here. Give us a day to figure everything
This
out.
is so. This entire thing that's a little bit chaotic makes me want to run the storyline I kind of want to cause uh, in the city with Rainn.
What one?
Essentially, the city needs someone in power because Eldrick's in power, and he's not supposed to be in that. Like, the structure of the city is not designed for him to be there. He's
Hmm.
not actually physically high enough in the rest of societies, the throes of the rest of how the society works. So,
Hmm.
like, the Dukes do not respect Eldrick. Like, they respect him, like, he's a great warrior for the city. But he is not a politician, and he is not a leader of us. The Queen is.
He he follows orders.
Yeah, he follows orders from us. Because high enough ranking Dukes and whatnot give orders to the guard.
Yep.
So they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But by proxy, because he is the highest ranking officer of the Queen, essentially, around right now, he's in charge.
Hmm.
And he's like, I'm not. This was never supposed to happen.
Rain got to see a unique side of him that night. He needed a moment because he is, at the end of the day,
A person.
human, like a person. Yeah, I can't say human, but a person.
Yeah. That's how
So
you have to say in D&D, a person, because all species that are sentient are persons.
I'm always curious whether I have to do
Hu-
humanoids.
well, humanoid always doesn't work because, like, plasmoids and stuff aren't always humanoids.
True.
So a person, it just means the definition of person is intelligent being in the
Hmm.
D&D spurs. That's just what you do it with. And that's at least how I do it in my head to make it make sense when I'm writing and thinking about stuff. Because if you do it
Yeah.
beyond, if you expand the definition too much, you're like, I'm lost. What has rice? I have no clue. This
Hmm.
is a fantasy game. I was not told I had to think about this. I was told I got to swing a sword and make funny voices, not debate what deserves personhood.
uh, Codman, I need to get a glass of water. My throat is so dry. Entertain for 1 minute.
Okay, keep your headphones on, obviously.
Yes.
So the Rainn story plot essentially is conceptually trying to go with the Misfit Warriors who talk to the Queen when they, because I assume the Misfit Warriors are going to attempt to do that. We have not discussed that as a group yet, but I'm sure during our cart ride across the grasslands, we will have discussions because Nock needs to see the Queen to renegotiate the Treaty of Chicanery, um, and then adjust and try and get guards to protect both further guards for the Grove and groves for and guards for the Blessed Feet, or however they might deal with it. I think the Queen's gonna push for the Blessed Feet to get shoved in the Grove, but they're not gonna be happy about that. But that's not a problem I have to deal with. All depends how Bryan writes this shit. But I want Rainn to join them when they go to meet with the Queen, because Rainn needs to go talk to the Queen and announce to the Queen that she's a fucking alive. So let's just have a whirlwind, boys. And Rainn's willing to be the voice of the Queen temporarily for her, essentially. Put herself in that position of power because there is no one technically in charge, unless obviously the Queen sends a delegate to do that separately. The Queen's able to do that. She is powerful and can make her own fucking choices.
Hmm.
But I will offer myself as said delegate. My position, Rainn's position, had she remained in the path she was to be the chief advisor to the Queen, and one of the true voices of the Queen is speaking. When I speak, the Queen is speaking. That was
Hmm.
supposed to be one of her, like, her mom's at least vision of long-term change caused by her daughter is when Rainn would end up being the type of person in the future, had she continued it, that would be sent out as a diplomat to another nation to say, we would like to trade with you. And be able to make those terms and say, no, this is the Queen's word.
How would you introduce yourself to the city? Would you, if you wanted this to happen, would you like be reminding people kind of who you are? Like
Yeah.
let's say the daughter of your mother's name, the official translator and person, blah 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 title of the queen.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
stuff like that that would make people just be like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
Yeah, I would. I would just like do the same type of speech right there on the Ethereum, where the fuck it's called, Athenium. Is that it?
Mhm.
There you go.
Yep, Myar's Athenium.
Yeah, Athenium. Do the same thing. I would have to take at least Misfortune with me to have that authority that one member of the Turkisis is there, but you also need the other ones to protect the queen right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, sorry, I need a Nick one.
Please, you search. Oh, you have your freaking bird. You can talk to Misfortune whenever. Just be like, hey.
Well, yeah, I
Kind of need you,
I
bud.
haven't done that just yet, but that is something that Rainn will be doing in the course of the day that she's having. Well, we're having this day.
Yes, yes.
She's absolutely. You have no clue what we're talking about, person who just commented, because you should go watch our sessions. I'm talking.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about my character Rainn. She was born of a semi-noble family, or at least a family on the way to nobility, and was taken down when her parents were murdered. Yes, it is D&D.
They are D&D sessions. Yeah, we have been playing D&D for
Nat Disaster is
5 years now, over 5 years
yeah.
since 2019.
So we have two different. We have a couple campaigns. We have the heist campaign, which is what we're discussing most of the background of, and we have our Misfit campaign, which is our primary campain that we've done.
Which I broke into 2 seasons on YouTube. We for season 1 early stuff and season 2 afterwards. Then after that, we went into the heist, which is what we were talking here. That took 50 plus sessions in 3 years, because life, to get
well, because
done.
COVID happened.
Yep. We also have the 10 session Humblewood session. We have an entire DM session where I didn't DM. That isn't even on YouTube yet, just because falling behind on editing. And now we're back for season 3 of our Misfit Warrior campaign.
That's very cool that you had a world that evolved over 20 years. We hope to do it that
Oh,
long.
that is so cool. That's my goal. Like the map that is behind Conlan. I love that you did that for your background. That's the province that they're in. It's bigger, the official map on there.
Yeah. This is only showing a small part. This is the town that our characters are currently.
Like you can't even see. No, that is the Grove.
Oh, that's Grove.
That's the Grove. Going up further is the Blessed Feet tribe next to Warrior's Rest.
Yeah.
And then Ladris is that little circle town at the top center.
Okay.
Yes, that's where the party currently is. That's where the campaign started, and they've traveled all over that forest area, all to the left. And then you can't even see it on the map, but the waterfall at the bottom, that's where the river runs to, the Crulin's Crater, which Xysta City is a city that is hanging by magical chains over this crater. Oh, hold on. Phone alarm. Sorry.
Okay, so continuing with my train of thought. So Rainn is in a position where to reveal herself, putting herself back into that position of power that she was born for, would be very fun, and also a neutral party. So that way, the rest of the dukes dies. And what's the third category? I forgot.
For what?
For the royalty, we have the dukes and duchesses.
Mm-hmm.
We have the dies. Wasn't there a third one? There's like lords.
Barons.
Barons. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. There's dukes are in charge of each
Yeah.
quadrant, and then the barons and baronesses each individual section that makes up those quadrants in the city.
Yeah, essentially
It took so long to structure Xysta City.
I'm
Like
so
that was the first time I ever had to structure a city, and there's a reason why when we finished the Humblewood campaign, and we were going into this, even we have a running joke that going into the heist campaign, I said, yeah, this short little series, I was thinking it's going to take about 3 sessions, and it took over 50. So
I
I
don't know what the
struck.
fuck you were thinking still. The day you said it, day one we started the heist campaign, you said,
Mhm.
I think it'll take 3 sessions. I think Andrew guessed like 10, and I'm just like, I'm not even going to tell you. I was vibing on 30 plus.
Mhm. I just I made the city. I structured it so we knew how things worked. I had several places in the city for like interesting stuff, and then I just had the plot. And for some reason, my naive brain was just like, "Yeah, this is the one-shot thing that
This is
we're doing.
enough.
Like they'll stick to the plot."
Bryan, I'm planning how to fucking coup the government. I don't know what
That's what it devolved into.
I don't think you understand what I wrote my character for. Rainn
I love
is
that. Make DMs senators 2024, and at least DMs know the plot. Yeah, the plot gets lost so much. It's I
I've ruined the city.
well, honestly, you and everybody else in the party, Callum had a big hand in that too.
Yeah. Well, I pushed, and you're like, because you want to be idyllic, which I want for Xysta in the long term. But
Mhm.
we need to. It feels like we need to earn it, you know.
Yeah.
And earning it is our characters fighting for a better Xysta. Uh, and that's what we're doing. Like, and that's the fun part of doing it is shaping it the way our characters want. So it's fun that way. So it's us in charge of it, which is a cool way to like structure the city you wrote so awesomely. Is to take
Hmm.
ownership with you. So like at least it's
Hey
cute that
Bryan,
way.
you have a really cool idea. I want it.
I want it, and I'm gonna fucking ruin it. Everyone's corrupt. The government, the police department, which doesn't actually exist, it's just the guard. So that means the soldiers are also the ones who enforce the laws, which is the worst form of monarchy. You actually wrote that, not me, so I'm not at fault for that one.
Hmm.
I just made
And
them corrupt. But that was
the
gonna happen, Bryan. There was no chance, no shot that the guard wasn't gonna be slightly corrupt. The guard's always corrupt.
the funniest thing is just the Misfit Warriors are going into the city, and not probably it's probably going to be another 5 sessions because you guys got to do at
We have
least
too many
to
small tasks that we have to get done before that, and that's
yes,
not including getting distracted, which is bound
yes,
to happen too. Like we have a
yes.
set, like we need to get the stardust, we need to do this shit, we need to then go to the city. That's gonna at least take 5 campaigns.
I love that nothing says I'm invested in the campaign like I want to break it.
That's the balance that works here. Is Bryan, our friend Vicky is a person who really loves and gets invested in the lore and is like, yeah, and tries to analyze it. I'm like, I'm also that level invested, but I also dream to break it all. I
I
dream to
will
be.
make it mine.
I'll be like, I am now the DM, and Bryan go, wait, my books, they're gone.
The screen just changes over to in front of you.
Yeah.
What just
Just
happened?
roll for a character.
Oh, sorry, I set multiple alarms. I should turn them all off now.
Well, it's because you sleep through your alarms all the time.
Yes, going back to one of the first things we talked about in this disaster cast.
Yeah, is
I need
not
to
waking
remind
up.
myself to wake up so many times.
You're a good sleeper, bad waker.
Being awake is overrated.
I don't argue with that. Minus is playing D&D.
Yeah.
Real life sucks. I have to like
Mhm.
go draw plans today and fucking fix my truck. I don't want to do those things. That's why. That's why I've. Yeah.
But like fuck them.
Yeah, but fuck them. Like, actually, I love your writing, Bryan. It's one of my favorite things. It's
You
why we do this. It's why I helped you make this platform for it, because I think your writing deserves it.
you also fucked yourself too, because you fucked it for the Misfit Warriors who were going into it
That
before the
is
heist.
not 100%
You
my
guys
fault.
were
They didn't release the dragon.
okay. You guys originally, before the heist, were gonna make it down to Xysta City, go experience the Sovereign Airways, the slums outside the cities on the bridge that leads to it, and then
No,
get to the
that's not a
front
fun
gate.
place right now.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody thinks about the slums outside. But yeah, then get up to the
They're
front gate.
citizens. We must protect our citizenry. So they must also be under our protection. I will
So
send
that's
2 platoons of guards. See? I'm ready.
mm-hmm. That's one thing that Rainn's got to think about if she's actually gonna go try to go down this path. But you guys were gonna get to the front gate, get through, travel through Xysta City, get
Have
to
a
experience
couple
the
sessions
city,
of the city. Yeah, I know.
and then go to the transfers and showing the seal and getting a party with the queen. Now you guys are gonna have to go into a storm over the Sovereign Airways, see the slums in that state
Under
with
attack.
the elementals out there with them, because they are not under the protection spell that the queen put over the city.
Yeah.
You guys will have
I'm
to get
sure.
it
Oh man, that's
past
me.
the
I feel
elementals.
so bad because there's definitely at least a handful of guards whose job it is to like maintain some kind of like control over the airways. So
Mhm.
those poor assholes have the worst job ever right now. Even worse than protecting the queen, because the queen, at least you have super powerful casters who are like her primary protection. So you're kind of just
Mhm.
there as a body. It's not that bad. You're just making sure the doors are closed. Like that's
Yep.
your job. You're like, that window's latched. That window's latched. Like that's your job. It's not that bad. The guys
Mhm.
in there in the thick of it who are like, our normal job is to stop the homeless people from killing each other. Now we also have to protect the homeless people, and they're pissed off about it.
Mhm. And they're getting rained on constantly.
Yeah, and it sucks here. So those guys are just having the worst day ever.
Mhm.
They are waking
Mhm.
up to actual hell.
They're honestly getting into a sad little bit. It's probably some people who have jumped, just
Oh,
like, all
oh,
right, this is.
absolutely.
I don't want to die by elemental. I don't want
You
to
will
die
anyways.
out
They'll get
here
you
in
on
the
the way
cold.
down.
Like, while you're falling, I thought I escaped you. Nope.
Because isn't there lightning elementals and shit up there?
There are
So
lightning
that yeah, they just
elementals
boop.
and air elementals, and then water elementals on the bridge.
Yeah, you can get booped so hard.
Now you guys have to get through that, Conlan.
I intend to do it quickly and ignoring the problem.
You guys gotta think of something to like, hey, well, how can we either protect ourselves from the elementals or like seriously
Why do you
get
think
rid of
I was
them?
asking for mounted crossbows, Bryan?
Hmm.
Is A, Gandits, and we're going to have to travel through the grasslands a bunch, so we might have a raid happen, so we'll need to. We'll have a turret section!
Hmm. I was already thinking about how to do this in Roll20. I literally just need to make a path,
That's
a
really
big
long,
path,
yeah.
very long, and then you guys go down it, and then hey, look, you're back at the top.
Yeah, exactly. We just jump and we reset. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be very fun. I think we should
Hmm.
have, like, that's just the session. Anyone gets off, I'm fucking going to their house and kicking their ass. Because I'm like, you stay on the cart, you stay on the turret, or else this will take forever. Bryan is planning enough enemies where if we don't stay on the cart, we die.
You know Callum's gonna be like, but I want to jump out and get him.
Leaving you.
You're actually gonna die. Bye.
I'm because like that is truly like the I want because that's why A, I want the turret section for that, and B, that's kind of what I want to do on the bridge is get to the front of the bridge where I'm sure we'll meet some guards who are like, hey, can we come with you? Because we don't want to be here anymore. And I'm like, do you know how to use a crossbow? You're in. You're in.
You guys just keep on. You just load your card up
Yeah,
with
as we're
guards
going
and
down, we
homeless
just keep
people.
grabbing a guard. That would be very funny. It would look really bad for the guard as a whole that they were abandoned the people, but it also would be the funniest thing.
You
Is
could also rescue some of the people. You know, Knock and
take
Bracket would
my
rescue the homeless
child.
people.
Okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this baby.
The party's now in charge of like 7 babies
2
and
toddlers and some old lady who's important.
Oh God, I see. These are the things that I love about the sessions that we do. Like, I never know how you guys are gonna solve a problem. It's so fun because, and that's what I've learned as a DM, especially in the first 2 years. Is as a new DM, a lot felt railroaded because hey, like I wanted to make sure I controlled the world. I got this stuff, but even in that, you guys always did something to surprise me. The propane tank in session 5.
You had to pause. You had to pause the game and said, "We need to go intermission because I actually don't know how to do this math."
So Fizzle Gig, in session 4 of our first season, way back in 2019, I have a list of 1,000 real life items that if the party rolls a good enough investigation check somewhere, I let them roll a D1000 and get a random item off of that list. And the first one they got was in session 4, and they got a propane tank.
A
And I was like,
full 20-pound propane tank.
oh God, what did I just do? And the party start immediately got fixated on how to use it, like figure out what it does.
We
And
figured out the
they
valve. We figured out how to get the valve to work and press in, so that way we were able to fill a pouch, and then we blew it up. We blew up part of the river.
hmm And then the
How
next
American
session,
of us.
they were getting raided by the Gandits of the Grasslands for their jar, which was the item they were trying to protect. And one of our characters, Naresh, tricked them into thinking it was the propane tank. And they brought the propane tank up at the top of the cliff next to their leader. And then he was a bard, so Naresh just turned to the party and said sorry and cast Shatter on the propane tank, and it just exploded the cliff and the leader and half of the troops that were up
It
there. And
obliterated people.
I was like,
Some
how
people
do
turned to fucking mist.
there was dogs up there too, the mastiffs, like partners of these Gandits, and those dogs just up in flames, they gone, burning flesh. And yeah, I had to pause. I was like, how much damage does an exploding propane
Nah,
tank deal?
my thing that gets me and is the funniest part of it is you pause because you think because you're like, how do I play this based on the mechanics of the game? And you just whisper to yourself, well, a propane tank has no AC.
Like, you hit it.
Because you're trying to decide, does Naresh hit? He can see the propane tank. It has no AC. There's no hiddenness.
Oh, it was a Constitution saving throw that it needed to make, and it said like inanimate objects make this at disadvantage. So I'm like, what is the constitution of a propane tank? Like it's probably just the base 10, maybe like 12, because it's made out of metal. I don't know. And yeah, no, it failed. It failed.
That was so funny. It was 4 sessions in, we blow up a group with a
hmm
propane tank.
They are. They are.
That sets the
They
tone
are.
for all other sessions that we've always consistently had.
They were level 2 characters.
Um,
Oh
yeah,
wait, no, level 3 characters then.
it's why I want to flesh out because I want to add in as a series. I want to do some DMing so that way we can get maybe 2 sessions in a month instead of one because it takes time for us each to write.
hmm
Um, but I know they're gonna derail, and I also I'm like I need to prep stuff, and more importantly, the thing I struggle with is remember all the shit I wrote because I can
hmm
bullshit shit real fast, and loose, make up names, make up places. You're going to this place, you're doing this, blah, 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 blah. I can bullshit that. I don't remember a word I fucking said, though. Because when I'm bullshitting, I'm not recording.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going. And I did that while doing that one shot for my scouts. And I remember enough that I could write it and like get some of the major plot points down, and as well as some of the characters I invented who I kind of threw up on the fly, but I'm like, but they're good enough and memorable enough I can put them back up.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's like small things I said, yeah, sure, where I'm like, I do not remember what I said yeah, sure to.
That's the hardest thing as a DM, remembering everything a chaotic party wants to do or has planned for. Like I got caught last session with that 1994 roses. Hey boo.
Oh, it's my wife. I was like, oh, I was like, who's doing this? My wife. Hi,
My
Case.
my
My
wife.
wife.
Oh god, what was I just saying? Casey, you distracted me.
We were talking about Kayak Party and remembering everything that we've done. It is
Oh,
one of the hardest parts to do. When you're doing with like
yeah.
scouts who are doing a one shot, so people who are doing a one shot have yeah, we know Ebson plays 101's a bot. Who cares? If the bot counts as a viewer right now. So I'll take the W.
I'll take the view count. We're at 4 at 5 a.m. That's awesome.
Yeah, we only got like 15 minutes left, but that's okay. We'll just continue this thought about talking about DMing. So
Mhm.
yeah, so when you have people playing a one shot, people come in with zero cares. They have no. You usually have one player who's like, "Oh yeah, I care a little bit about what the plot you're writing is," and then the rest of them are just like, "Fuck it, I'm lighting this shit on fire." Like I
Mhm.
have only one plan: piss off the DM. Because you're just like, who cares? And like, that's not what you would normally do. And you even can
Mhm.
tell they're like, this is not what I normally do, but I'm having a grand old time. Because I had two people who really cared. My friend Adam, who you'll probably hear in Nat Disaster, will probably see at one point. Because I'm going to bring Adam in for that campaign. Because he's a cool
Mhm.
character from that campaign. He's a wrestler. Uh, it's just a goofy fucking set of characters that were in that
Okay.
campaign. He's now a pro wrestler in the Crime City. He has
Oh.
protection, everything. Because I created two cities that are like twins. They were run by
Mhm.
twin brothers who had totally different personalities. One was this kind, very kind gentleman, but he was very rigid in terms of his like, these are rules and rules keep us safe. The other guy hated rules because his brother liked rules so much. So, but loved money. So you can see how these two cities grew next to each other and also
Mhm.
worked off of each other to make money on each other. And that's like one of the plot sets is that set of cities. There's an outskirts village that's a good plot point too that people could use. Um, yeah, in case you did forget your soda, I am currently drinking it. I put the other one in the freezer though for you if you want it when you get home. I have another one who's this outside village. Technically, the capital city could be a plot. I just have not written it at all because it's not important to me. I feel like that's the
Yeah.
most boring place. It'd be like, it's a capital city. Lots of wealthy people, lots of poor people. It's a normal capital city in every country in the entire world, always, where there's tons of money, but also no money, but also corruption, but also fighting against corruption all at the same time, constantly. That's what
Mhm.
all big cities are like. I like
So
the fun
what
of
kind of campaign would you want to run there? Like if you did a
your
one
guys'
shot?
choice. If it's one shot, I'd continue on my little fun plot point of the crime syndicates and they're beginning to do something. Uh,
Mhm.
like in the background of this world, the crime syndicates are slowly trying to do something not good. Uh,
That's typically what crime syndicates do.
they want to harness a great evil, but they don't realize it's not harnessable.
So they're just gonna release it.
Yeah, they don't know that. They're not that.
You, you as the DM knows that.
I, as the DM, knows what the plot of the guy is who is the great evil. It took
Mhm.
this nation and three other 10 years of effort and magic to stop him because he was killing so many people that they had to essentially keep meat waving while they prepped the magic to destroy him. So they had to just send people to the slaughter by no choice just to keep him at bay while they prepped the magic to destroy him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy, crazy magic evil. Like, I don't know actually how to work into 5e.
I would love to do like a one shot on something like that, and uh I'm also partial towards paladins because paladin was the first class that I
Oh,
chose.
Paladin's just such a good
But
class.
I've always been curious on playing like a fallen paladin, just how that everything with
I
that.
That'd be cool to do a Fallen Paladin, actually, in that group. Because, like, there's the national, like, the guard service is still nationalized across the entire thing. So, like,
Hmm.
even in the crime city, the guard are still the guard. Like, they take bribes more than normal. But, like,
Hmm.
they actually do still enforce the laws like it is on the rest of the country. So, like, people are pretending it's crime city. Sometimes the guard are like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't. So it'd be really interesting to play a fall. You can play a fallen guard who was part of the guard and got disenfranchised. That'd be fun. Like, he still
Yeah.
believes in the good of saving the world, but he just can't handle the all the problems that sometimes come with society. That'd be fun to
Hmm.
play.
And gets fallen into this crime syndicate that's trying to awaken and harness this great evil.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Hmm.
There's lots of things that world that I've written just enough that like it has plot that I can be like, cool, this is what's happening. Here's the like I could run it for a year or two easily and have fun plot. But there's nothing
What
like
was
specific.
what was that we were planning for years ago? It was either you or Vicky was gonna DM,
Vicky was going to
I
DM
believe.
something that was going to be just a personal project, but then COVID happened, and me and Vicky talked about it for during COVID a couple times, but it's fallen by the wayside. I forgot what it was going to be about.
I think I remember I was planning to play like a Sorcerer of the Stars or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to play my first caster in that campaign
Hmm.
because I think we were all going to be casters.
Which would have been hilarious because very
Well, it was
squishy
designed.
party.
It was designed to be a caster like campaign, from my
Hmm.
memory of what it was talked about. I don't remember exactly
Yeah.
what like the plot was, but I know it's gonna be
It was
like,
something with a house. It was some sort of house.
yeah,
Probably like a House of Horrors concept thing.
yeah. I stayed. I don't remember. Uh, which actually would even House of Horrors would be even funnier if we were all casters. 'Cause we would have instantly obliterated by something.
E- Every time you step on a trap, a spike shoots out at you. You
You're
take
dead.
5 damage. Oh boy, that's a third of my hit points.
I'm just gonna fireball the next room so that way we don't have to deal with those problems.
I'm good.
Anything make it?
You need another one? Da, 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 da. Fireball.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, there's enough plot written in the world of the. I have things named and written down that like we could do anything we wanted. Like whatever people wanted, I could throw it in there. Where there's enough flexibility to make it happen. There's no impending evil. There's just
Mhm.
an evil can be released if chosen, if we need that.
Yeah.
It can be the crime always syndicate always fails and it's funny because they're incompetent. We can play it that way too. I don't care. Like we can play it as like a hit 'em up where it's like, oh, you're just gonna fight me, bros, and we just keep fucking just have like a combat fun game where we just slaughter fucking criminals.
Hmm.
Like we can do that too. Whatever people want. If they just want a good vibes game where we just kill people, that's fine. I don't care.
You know what would be fun to eventually go back to for a few sessions?
I'd like to go back to our pirate campaign. That was fun that Callum was running, but I don't think we're ever going back to that, unfortunately.
Yeah, that might be like a one shot or something, or just
That
like
might just
because I
get
know
played
there's a
off screen with friends. Because
yeah.
that was the part of the pressure for Callum was like doing it live. He felt a little extra pressure, and he said that really stressed him out. He's like, I know I was getting in my own head, but it was just like getting there.
Hmm.
So that's why we stopped. Was he was we had scheduling issues that started because someone I think one of our people started school or started a new job or something, so it changed what day we are gonna do it, and then that day became less likely because people were less free,
Hmm.
and then it falls apart from there. And then Callum was just stressed out. He wanted to make it the best campaign possible because he's Callum and he's awesome.
He told me, I remember eating lunch in a Chili's, and Callum called me on the phone, and he's telling me about the battle that you guys were all going into. Do you remember what it was supposed to be?
Barely. I do not fully remember. It's been so
I don't
long.
know whether he revealed it or not, so I'm not gonna say,
Yeah.
but seemed
I
like it
know
was
there
gonna be a
was.
pretty badass battle.
I think it was some kind of sea monster or something, from my understanding. My memory.
I mean, it makes sense. You're on a pirate campaign.
I do enjoy that I played the comically rich character in that campaign. Like, where I
Hmm.
just said, yeah, I'm just going to buy it. Put it in my family's tab. My dad's the king.
Hmm.
So I could just demand, because it's fun. That's fun to play sometimes, where you can just demand shit, and people are like, yes,
Hmm.
sir.
And Callum's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, the king needs to solve this problem, so he's sent his son and sent his allies, um, child, because they are they them, so because they're androgynous.
Hmm.
Uh, to you two are in charge. You are our prodigies. Go. But they don't like. But they went to school together and they don't like each other. Like they don't hate each other. But but they bother the shit out of each other. But they do get along.
So this is the first time you and Vicky have made characters that aren't like best friends.
No, but they've known each other forever, which is what makes it
Hmm.
fun. So they know everything about each other. Because their families are close, because they're the ruling families.
I would like to join in if you guys ever did that again. I'd create like a character just to get shoehorned into the final
Yeah,
battle.
it wouldn't be that hard. It would be fun to do it again.
Mhm.
I would
It,
love my friend
it,
Jaden to play Shorum again, because he actually did an accent the whole fucking time.
mhm. It would be fun to do the Humblewood campaign too, like part two of the Humblewood, where they went after they went through that portal.
It would, just for like a little bit, to try and get them caught up plot wise a little
Hmm.
bit. Because I
Yeah.
know what happens, but like it'd be fun to play it out a little bit so we can just keep every once in a while like do a one shot for like the heist, like a heist one shot or a heist like mini session or whatever the fuck we call it.
Hmm.
Maybe want to call it mini session just in case we need a little bit longer than the time we have allotted for a session. So say it takes
Hmm.
two instead of just one. That way we have
Yeah.
a name scheme that works. Because we're terrible about thinking about the fact we take too long.
Hmm.
So, one shot, not one shot, 18 shot. 50.
we like we like taking shots.
Yeah. Shot, 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 shot.
I don't think we actually, as people, are capable of doing one shots unless we are just simply playing for hours.
I can do one shots, but you have to give me essentially say, you only have these 4 hours, and that's it.
Hmm.
You have to give me that set amount of time so that way I can write in that gap. Because it
Hmm.
also allows me to yell at my players and say, hey, you're not being productive. We need to move on.
The plot moves forward.
Yeah, yeah. You have to be like, okay, we're doing this now.
Hmm.
Because the problem is when we left it open ended, no chance.
What do we do now? Oh wait, no, this thing over here. Oh, this. Wait, what
We're
did the
gonna
DM
visit
do at
every
the beginning of the
vision. We
session?
want to visit every shop in the entire city.
Hmm.
We're gonna split
And
the
then
party every
suddenly
other
it's a shopping
session.
session.
We're gonna split this party every other session.
That was the honestly that
That's
killed
what
so
killed
much
us.
time there.
The amount of times we had solo sessions and other shit.
Hmm.
It was such a problem. But like, I think we should continue every once in a while. Do a little like, hey, here's a video in between our two normal like monthly videos. Here's a little heist doodad
Hmm.
where Andy and Rainn are doing this. Like we just set
Or
up
here,
this basic plot point. This is what you missed. We're jumping into it. We play through our little like important things where we need to make choices, because that's what makes D&D fun. Is just write. Anyone can just write a fucking book that's interesting, but it's more fun when you leave some random chance in it that you don't have control over, with rolling and other crap like that, and that's fun. That's the point of D&D. Is you're just like, okay, the past morning they've been doing this, and this. They've met up to do this. Okay, go. They're at the coffee shop. They're at the coffee.
Yeah, that's where it would definitely start. I wonder how that coffee shop's holding up with the storm.
He is making so much money. Even if their place is fucked up, she is still making coffee, and we know that. Actually, knowing her, she's collecting water and just being like, yep, don't have to pay the water bill this month.
Just boil it. It's fine.
They're making coffee.
And with that, I am going to have to head up to get ready for work. Not my coffee, but I need my morning caffeine. So.
Yeah.
But everybody who did join, yeah, Fizzlegig, you're awesome. Shout out to you. I hope you followed. I hope you joined for other ones, and join for some D&D sessions in the future. And we will try to do another one of these disaster casts sometime within the next 2 weeks.
Yes, we might discuss in our group chat if people want to jump onto that campaign, because I've been having lots of ideas and I just want to do something.
Which one?
The world I wrote that I've done the 2 one-shots in. Because I just gonna go for it.
Hey, it's your world, man, so you have to take an initiative on that one. You put that message in the chat.
That's fair. I'll talk to the people who might be involved first, and then we'll just discuss it.
Yes, Casey, I am tired as fuck. I am always tired as fuck. I'm also coming down from an edible, so the edible's kind of just like, okay, I'm sleepy. You need a shower. So I'm gonna go shower.
Yeah, you need a shower and a fucking monster, and then you'll be mint.
Oh God, Mountain Dews. That's my kryptonite.
Not enough caffeine.
Yeah, but Monster, the shit that's in that Monster, don't sponsor us.
No, Monster do sponsor us. I want 100,000 Pacific Punches. I have 15 coming in today at some point this morning.
You can sponsor him. Don't sponsor me.
Yes, I'll put a big ass sign behind me.
All right. Thank you all for joining. Catch you for the next DisasterCast, and good morning.
Morning.